Good morning, Libra. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Nicole. Libra, it's been a little while since I've got a reading. I don't even think I got you guys out a reading in March, so my apologies. Lots of changes, obviously, new space and all. So thank you for being so patient and kind during my personal transitions to make things better here for myself and for all of us in the process. Libra, this is going to be your April 2025 reading. This will be for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus cross watcher. If that's you, welcome to the channel as well. Discern the messages accordingly. And remember, not everything is for you. So, take what is and leave the rest behind, right? And catch us on the next message kind of thing. All right, Libra, static cling. What is it? It's energetic. It's static cling, needing to shake something off, some Taylor Swift, shake it off kind of thing. Libra, what is it that you can't shake? What is it that you can't shake here in the month of April? It seems to be important to you. I don't even know, Libra, if it's important. There's something about it that has a tinge of jealousy. You could be dealing with somebody who is jealous. Maybe you are jealous. Who knows, right? I always say for you guys, it's a 50-50 thing as to if I'm reading for you, Libra, or am I reading for the cross watcher? So again, take it as it comes in for you. Spirit, maybe it's a mix of both. A Libra could be dealing with a Libra in some capacity, but it could be a flip of signage as well, is what I'm hearing. So I don't know that it necessarily is sitting in your sun sign of Libra, but take the messages as it fits. This is something that can't be quite shaken, and I think it's been kind of I'm going to call it dangerous. Not necessarily on a physical level, but on a level of, Spirit's calling it maturity, Libra. So quickly, too, personal reads are open and available. That information can be found in the description box below, as well as the About section of the channel. Channel memberships are open. We had the opportunity finally this month or the end of March, actually, to do some moon readings in that. So if you're a channel member, if not, you can go to the channel, find a members only video, use that video to hit the join button and continue forward. So if you have any questions, feel free to email and reach out. Anyways, so Libra, what is this? I'm gonna stick with that the way Spirit gives this to me, because there's something a bit dangerous, but I don't think that it's dangerous so much as in physical danger as it is danger as to what it does to you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, maybe even psychologically. The importance, like institutions, right? Banks and schools. So you think about that they're overruling governments. There's an overruling thought process here, Libra, that's happening that around money, right? Maybe a higher education. That could be that spiritual knowledge as well. It doesn't have to be schooling. Could be, right? It could very well be schooling in itself, but this is what you give credit to. This is what you give an acknowledgement to. Some of you could have just been learning a lot about your finances. It could be a lot about value, right? The value of oneself, the value of the situations that you're involved in, the value of the emotions that are tied up into a situation too, Libra. There's an aisle of separation, Spirit is saying, where one of you was on one side of the coin, if you will, heads, and somebody else was tails in this dynamic. And one part of this is like somebody didn't want to go in, and I don't know what the hell I'm thinking of, but it gives me this impression of like you have one kid, I don't know, maybe you got two kids, and one loves school, and the other one you have got to drag them kicking and screaming every day into the building. They just hate it. Somebody here is very curious to learn, to know, to acknowledge, to see, to understand in the month of April their place in the world. The other is not. It is just a hard fought no. Somebody here could have a significant the person that you could be dealing with, I'm not quite sure. There's something about a fixed sign. I'm not quite sure what the fixation or the fixation, it's not a fixed sign, it's a fixation. Somebody could have a fixation on a fixed sign. There you go. Blah blah blah. So that's that. There's notes too about the timing around things. So it would be like looking at a school schedule too, going, you know, first periods from this time to that time, and oh, by the way, lunches from 1 to 2. There's something about a lunch schedule or something to that effect that that's the only time that's the only time they choose to be available. I'm not quite sure what that's specifically about, but somebody's watching the clock tick by. So time could be moving super fast. I don't want to say super fast, but quickly for one, and the other one seems to be moving so slow. It's like, how does one go from one speed to the other? It's a complex situation, Libra, but the thing of it is it's like one part is you, the other part is someone else, right? So you discern what part of that it is that you belong to. Okay, let's clarify this before I go jumping in from one thing to the next. I want to clarify this bank and school card. These cards tend to come to me as emotions. They're not so much the places as they are emotions. There's a hard stop to something here. 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords. It's an abrupt shift in plans. Somebody writing checks their ass can't cash. And I don't feel that it's financial necessarily as much as it is the lessons. Someone has said something in the past. Somebody has done something in the past. And now that the time has come, they're not fulfilling. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know. They don't want to do it differently. 3 of Cups. It's going to require significant improvement of their partnerships. 2 of Swords, King of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles. Ooh, a lot of third party. Spirit, to throw one a bone means they have to come clean. What do they need to come clean about? Strength card, the Emperor. Choices in selection. I'm hearing choices in selection that they made in the past that might have been what would have been conceived as a good time is no longer such a good time. There's responsibility, right? The Emperor becomes responsible for his kingdom. 8 of Cups is, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't an 8 of Cups of just being oblivious. It is choosing to walk away from responsibility of such, right? Rather than hold themselves accountable, this is, I'll just walk away from the responsibilities of such. So whatever that is for you. The Star in the reverse. They're not getting what they wanted. They're not getting what they had hoped for. I just said it's responsibility, right? Whatever tactic, error, whatever checks, as they would say, right? That they're writing that their ass can't cash, some idiom there. This is easier to just move on and move away from it. You know, somebody has failed to uphold their word. This is somebody who maybe set a standard. Yep, 7 of Swords. Somebody who set a standard for somebody else, and then, you know, it's like, you ever get relationship advice from somebody and they're telling you how you should be doing your relationship and running your life, and they themselves can't fucking figure it out, right? They have no idea what they're doing. But they're going to tell you all the ways that you were wrong, but they, you know, people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right? But they do. And then when the roles get reversed, they have a real hard time stepping up to the plate. They themselves don't know what they're doing. They wanted to, know it all. You know, ultimately, I think he's very, ultimately dealing with a know it all, only to find out they know nothing. They really don't know all the things they thought they did. It's a hard factual lesson, and somebody here, Libra, is walking away from that and going, you don't know what you said you knew, or you're not upholding what you said you would do if you were in that situation. And now I'm walking away from this because there's somebody's character right? Like maybe they were able to carry along a facade, Seven of Swords, right? Sneaking, lying, cheating, stealing, making it look really good. Not seeing what's going on behind closed doors kind of thing. But then you realize they aren't living up to what they thought they would, or what they said they were able to do. But there's a lot of projection in that, Libra. So, you're learning something about that, and that's kind of like the school of hard knocks for you when it comes to this in some way. And as I say that, there's the Hermit. That's the Wisdom, the Two of Cups. They both came out sideways. You are learning something about somebody as they are also learning something about you as we speak, right? That, maybe you just, for some of you, while they could have done all the talking and all the accusing and all of the gabbing and all of the shit, maybe you sat a bit quieter, maybe weren't so responsive or reactive to tactics, behaviors, manipulations. And in April, it's like there's a full benefactor of it's like almost like the more charm they thought they had, the more charisma they thought they had, that they could smooth talk situations, or they could kind of go, it's like they would go out in the world and show this real happy face, like a covert narcissist, put on a happy face, only then, and you would see them behind closed doors of how nasty they truly were. It's not about what the outside world sees, Libra. It's about what you've come to know. They're not as put together as they care to share. The know-it-all versions of themselves, these are people who would, you're going to know who these people are, or this person is, because they would never be one to say, I don't know, right? I don't know. Like when I would manage businesses and stuff when I was, years and years ago, I would always tell the people that worked beneath me in those positions, if you have questions, come ask. And if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you that I don't know, and then I'm going to find out, and then we'll circle back around to this, right? So if you're that person who has those questions and you're taking it to somebody in, maybe an authoritative position, or just in general, right? Just somebody and you're trusting them with these questions, and they have an answer for everything, and they never humbly look at you and go, I really don't know the answer to that, so let me see, right? Like they just, or you could ask for their advice and they could say, here's my opinion, but I'm not sure that this would work for you. Like anybody who can't just acknowledge that they don't have the answers all the time, that's how you know who this person is in the month of April. Libra, for some of you, there are multiple people, multiple benefactors in this. You may start to see even patterns of behavior and maybe family lineage as well, that God forbid they just say, it's almost like the ego is getting in the way from addressing, I don't know, or I'm confused, or I don't know how to do this. It's being humble enough to, and getting out of your own way enough to go, I don't know. And I don't know is okay, but to whoever and whatever you're dealing with, they got an answer for everything. And you're learning about this behavior and having some internal, I could call it awareness, Libra, in April, but I don't think that it's an awareness. You're seeing the big picture in this situation, 1414, temperance, healing energy. It's not about awareness. It's about understanding how that feels and what that looks like. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, like we recognize things that in people sometimes that it's like they're there to show us what it looks like if we don't heal. Some of you could be having an aha sort of moment as to how unhealed somebody else is, how you don't want to be a part of that anymore. Others of you realizing how deep it ran within you at some point, right? Or the things that you need to change on a lineage type of place too. Spirit also saying, some of you just jumping timelines, that's you've been okay with that space, but it's like you're seeing somebody in a very different way than you once did as a result of this. And that's changing the course and direction of your lives. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal how you're viewing this in the month of April. So final advice on this, and I'm going to see what else pops up for you all. But it's a big change, and you're starting to see the deficits of what comes through the chaser and self-indulgence. They want to be seen as how do I say this? This is somebody who wants to appear to be the boss, right? You ever have that coworker who is like power tripping kind of thing? That's this person in the daily life. It's power tripping. Maybe they wear a fancy watch. Maybe they wear good looking clothes. Maybe they drive a nice car, right? Whatever that looks like. Maybe they hold a certain presence about them of power and authority in a lot of places. But then realize how falsified that is, right? The advice for you is to recognize how you get sucked back into that. I don't feel like you are. You may teeter a little bit here and there. If you're a man, or if you're dealing with somebody, let's put it this way. If you're dealing with somebody on I don't even think it needs to be a romantic level, honestly. I think it would be easier in the level of seduction if it were. But if you're dealing with somebody in that way, your boundaries with this person, 1717 on the clock, are going to be very important, because they may be a bit much at you sometimes, is what I'm hearing, a bit much at you sometimes. But you also need to know that you have a personal choice per spirit to stand your ground. Okay, so do know. They may use passion and seduction as a way to suck you in, emotional manipulation, right? What looks good, what feels good. So, all right, let's see what else, Libra. What else in April? What else does Libra need to know for the month of April? I just heard it's a sure sign you're moving on. So, dignified strength, the capacity to love, healing the home. It's okay to say no to the home. I don't know what that's about. So don't jump on the first choice, Libra, that you have. Explore the field. And as I say, that is the 9th house of exploration. Explore your options, Libra. See what else is out there. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable with the unfamiliar. There's a lot of steps, so it's a lot of climbing energy. A lot of some of you could be working on your physicality as well, so treadmills and just higher levels of everything. So this could be physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You're requiring greater growth at this point, and so it's kind of like exercising your life and exercising your mind and exercising your emotions in this as you start to explore what is next in sight for you, right? Having strength and dignity about yourself, but also realizing the more poised that you step, being poised. Being poised is going to show how you move on, right? It's like no matter how ugly something may get, I can lift my chin up and carry on in grace and beauty, right? Not in vanity, not in ego. It's like I'm ready to leave that chapter of my life behind. This is also people realizing, too, that when we screw up, this is also, okay, thank you, Spirit. When people we all have skeletons in our closet, right? We all have things that we're not proud of that we've done. But this is also being at peace with not being our best selves, and recognizing that we can't hold the past against everybody for the rest of their eternity in existence. They had to learn lessons, right? So this could be somebody, Libra, who's using your past against you, or you may try to use their past against them. It's only been a compass. It's been a compass for direction. If people show up and change the way they've behaved, April would be a great time to give them the benefit of the doubt, to show that they have changed too, right? So if someone is appearing very different than what you used to know, or maybe Libra, you are appearing very different than what someone used to know, everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt until proven, it's like, supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until there is a reason to say something different, right? So there's something to that effect as well when it comes to this energy. What is this? Clarify this energy. That was a short and simple message. Three of Wands. It's expansion, and exploration and expansion. There's two cards of that here, and there's the King of Swords, Libra. There you are. Exploration and expansion of the Three of Wands with the introspection. You realize that we're getting older. We're learning, right? We learn every single day. We learn at every single moment if we allow it to be a lesson, where we become more clear about our direction. But I do feel like there's somebody, Ten of Wands, somebody's trying to use the past against somebody else to say that this is the way that it is, and it's not true. It's holding on to a false narrative of things, and it's just not true. It's burdening the one who wants to continue to fight. Letting down the guards. Let down the guards. Just disconnect. Six of Swords. Rite of passage. It's time to move away from this. I do feel like somebody is moving away from this. Somebody else is still wanting to try to engage. You're wasting your... If you are the one engaging, whomever is watching this video, do know that you're wasting your time. Think about what you could do with that effort placed elsewhere. And something more productive. Anything else for Libra in the month of April? Anything else in the month of April? Inner Oracle. You are the channel, deja vu, self-fulfilling prophecy. There's the split. There's the duality of the justice, literally here, Libra. I'm almost seeing Libra as the twins for Gemini, right? And look at this. Here you go. Here's the duality once again. You have two individuals. At one point, we're together. One point or not. And then one is going up. One is ascending. One is descending in this situation. One is somebody wanted to see a truth of something happen, right? They wanted to fulfill. Look. It's pointing the finger, Libra. April was this pointing the finger of something, and it's looking back to the past. There's a blame game going on. It's the blame game here in April for some reason. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I heard too from Spirit, if this is in regards to some legality, right, justice itself in its purest form, or in its most natural form, I guess. I don't know. The one who is held in just is the one who is willing to move forward. Is that you, or is that the other person? That's the thing that you have to ask yourself, because there is a language of light, right? There is a rediscovery of communication and trying to do things differently. And then there is the negative energy attachments, the energy exchanges that again, there's the duality, the light and the dark of a situation. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, 6:15, okay. Do know that it's got to change, right? It cannot stay the way that it's always been done. We're not in that time and space anymore. As I say, that Archangel Michael, heart of a warrior, divine protection, synchronicity. Tattoos on the neck could be significant as well for some reason. It doesn't have to be. But this is someone who is willing to talk. I'm hearing willing to talk to God. for the right reasons, not because they're down on their luck and that's the only time that they've checked in. This is somebody who is thankful every day for what they wake up for, who's willing to heal a situation, who's willing to use the wisdom. And they apply empathy. Somebody could have a grandmother about 3 generations back looking at them and going, you better find the empathetic bone in your body. This person could have talked about that person at some point. I've got a high frequency tinge in my right ear, so there you go. There's that as well. Advice for Libra. What cards do I want? Do I even have that deck? Libra. There they are. I was looking for this one deck, and there it is. I've got cards shoved everywhere. There they be. All right, advice for Libra for April. Advice for Libra in the month of April. Release. You know, it's pick your battles. That release coming out in the reverse is like pick your battles, Libra. There's some things that you could hang on to. Other things are not serving you at this point, right? And it's you. What you hang on to has to be in alignment with where you're actually going. And if it's not, you gotta let it go. Or whoever you're dealing with needs to let it go. There's a need to surrender to this. Step back, reevaluate the decisions that you're making when it comes to this situation or person. Sometimes we literally let it go. You need to let something release here, or believing that miracles can occur when you move on and move forward. There's 2 doves. Dove in the upright, a dove in the reverse position here. Learning to let it go, right? I've talked about that bird in the past, right? Put that bird in the hands, and if you squeeze him and his eyeballs are bugging out, of course he wants to get the hell away from you. If you give him the room to breathe, everybody can get along. He will trust you. He will stay. But if you're putting and applying pressure to something all the time and arguing it doesn't have the room to grow, right? You've got to give people the room to breathe in your space. You have to give them the opportunity to be who they need to be without a constraint of traditional norms that says you have to be this way. Advice for Libra. Just heard for the one that won't let go. Whether this is tied, whatever you're being moved to is going to align with your life. And then you're going to have to make another little like quick change. It would be like going up the steps, and you know, you can walk straight for so long, and then you have to turn, you know, to go around, to go up the next set of stairs. You have to be willing to make those pivots in life, because if not, you're going to run into that wall every time. And that's what this is about. If you want to align to a life of meaning and purpose, you have to be willing to make those pivotal changes. You have to. I just felt somebody sit beside me. Oh my goodness. That is it's almost like your cat comes over and sits, like he pushes his paw down. That's what I just felt. You have to be willing to pivot and make those changes. Some people are going to walk beside you on that staircase. Other people will not. What is the significance to these stairs? What is the significance? That's come up it's come up a couple of times. What is the significance to the staircase? To keep going. To the Fool, to the Ace of Pentacles, which came out sideways, the Six of Swords. What about this staircase for the Libra? Someone is passing somebody else by. Mother of Pentacles in the reverse, the Chariot, the one who was greedy, the one who took and left somebody. Whoever, this is likely Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, does not have to be Libra. Somebody else, whoever was in their tangible era for the last 7 to 10 years is what I'm hearing. The one who tried to be open emotionally in a situation. And that materialistic side, the tangible side, left someone else feeling without, because it was in the sense of harm. The one who came at it with heart and soul is the one who will prevail. And that's the fight here. That's the struggle with this Five of Pentacles and the Star. The stairs again. The one who persevered throughout this situation, who transformed the norms and tried to bring things together, will proceed in the light. The staircase is the Ascension, and they're literally, there's the devil at the bottom, the Two of Cups. All I can say to you is don't go back to the way that it used to be. If you keep leaning, or whoever you're dealing with wants to push you to lean back into a way of being, it no longer works. That era is over. Lean into the light and continue to transcend, to ascend. The staircase. So it really is a staircase to the higher self for whoever this is, whether this is for you, Libra, or the cross watcher. All right, 31:13 on the clock. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you found this message insightful. Thank you for showing up. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Again, personal reads are open and available. That information can be found in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page. I look forward to seeing you all so soon. Take care. Bye-bye.